All right, getting set up. If you guys wonder about 3D printing, I'm going to unbox this. Let me get my other camera set up over here. I'm going to be filming it for Amazon, and that's another thing we've talked about when we were saying how to make money online and that. And you know, a lot of creators are always saying, click my Amazon link. They could just show something like this, and like on YouTube, I've got a link down in the description. And if you like click on that and you buy it, then we get a certain percentage. Now these are on sale now for $2.59, which is like really cheap for a 3D printer. But I'm going to show you how easy it is to set up. And I've got another camera set up because on Amazon they have an influencer program just like they do on all the other social media. And what happens is you can put videos up on Amazon, and if people find those videos and they buy it too, you get a commission off of that. So we buy a lot of stuff off Amazon, so we might as well just film it. And you don't have to make a detailed video like you do on YouTube. Like YouTube over here, everybody does unboxings and gives all the specs and everything. And really on Amazon, you just got to show the product. And so I'm going to go ahead and get this camera set up when everybody's popping in here. Let me get this off of here and check the comments. And y'all let me know if you can hear me or if I'm just talking to myself. I'm going to turn on the other camera and we're going to go ahead and start pulling this out. And I'm going to show you how easy this one is to set up. If you guys were with me like last year and I was asking about it, lots of y'all told me, you know, there's a whole lot of really good 3D printers out there. And there's Bamboo Labs and the Prusa and just tons of good ones. And I was just looking for economical because we're just printing, you know, something like this. And you see all the people, if you're in the 3D printing, they're doing all kinds of stuff like Iron Man masks and statues and toys and all kinds of stuff, right? And this is all I've been printing for like a whole year. So I don't need anything fancy. I don't need anything too big. So this is one that's set up over here. The build plate is only like that big, and you can see, you know, that's all we've been printing on there, right? So it's just the right size for what I need. And if you guys ever wanted to get into it and you were just going to like print some of your own or print some small things, then you really don't need anything too big. One of these would be perfect for you. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this out and go ahead and show you how easy it is to get it set up. The one that I started with was the Creality CR10 SE, and that was pretty easy to put together. And I've got one, I don't know if you can see it back over here. And that one's set up. Let me get my camera going. Don't forget to push record. And that one you had to take, the base came out and you had to put it together, plug all the wires up, and it took about 30 minutes. It wasn't too bad. Y'all see how easy this would be to put together. Hi, Mike. I'm watching you from YouTube right now. Might switch to Facebook. Hey, cool deal. What's up, Carol? And let's see. So I'm going to go ahead and start the camera and unbox that. If you guys have any questions along the way, feel free to just pop them in the chat. And if I get preoccupied on this, I try to get over there and answer questions really quick. I know lots of people are asking questions about this, so I had to get another one. All of these things take, like this, takes about an hour to print up. So if I'm making these and selling them to people, especially when we're doing buy one, get one free, right? If they take an hour to print and you have one machine, you're only going to print so many in one day, right? So what I had to do is get another printer, and then when one breaks down, I was replacing it. So for that price for $250, it's not that bad. Let me pull it out of here, set it down. Got your guides. And I'm just pulling out the packing material right now. And I'll just set it up here. Remove the rest of it where y'all can see. This one's pretty light. Go ahead and get this wrapper off. And everything's all set right in there. Now, they switched up a little. And I hope this one works. I had to send one back. So I hope this one goes through the calibration and everything right. But the first one I had, the screen wasn't on here. You have to take this apart. I'll show you that in a second. So, first thing you got to do is remove some of this packing material. And then pull the print head slides back so this one will come out. And they give you a little sample piece. This is like a little blue, shiny kind of filament. All we use is white. So I've got bunches of the samples. Our tools, power cord. I'll show you all that in a second. Basically, that's about it. Let me show the camera over here. Power cord, tools. We'll get to putting this together. There's one more piece of foam on the front. How much did it cost you to make that part? To make what part? This? It depends on how much your filament costs. You can go look up filament. I use PLA. Your little tools are here. This is really all you need to put it together. You've got a couple of Allen wrenches, 3, and a little tiny screwdriver. Right there. And it's not really the cost of that, it's how long it takes to make it. That's the power cord. I'll get this ready. We're not going to plug this in until we get a couple of things done on there. I'm just getting this ready for us. Down back there, my power's back there. All right, you get, this is adhesive. I don't use that. Some people, if you're making something bigger, like say, I just make a little adapter. I haven't had to use this yet. I might try it, but this is to get your print to stick to the bed. Sometimes when these are printing and they start to cool off, they'll try to bend up and warp, and like little pieces like that will bend up. And right now you can see it's all nice and flat. So mine's sticking pretty good. So I don't use that, but they give you some if you need it. It's a little oil for maintenance. This, I haven't done too much to these except just take a little bit of that and rub them on these rods. Get a little clippers. We use that many times every day. See, we've got plenty of them sitting around. This is your clean out tool for the print head if it ever gets clogged. You need that. You get 2 tiny little screws, and that's all we need. And this is to hold the spool of filament. So I've got to go run and grab a spool of filament in a second. But this is all you have to do. There's 4 screws holding this bed down for transport so it doesn't shake around. You got to remove those 4 screws first. And I think it's this one right here. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So just give me a second, I'll get those out. It's just a screw like that. But yeah, the other machines, you have to put them together. Some of the newer ones are coming like this, where basically if you're a beginner like me, there's not a whole lot you have to do. Now this one I like. I picked this one. I was using the Crealities, and a lot more of them probably come out with this, but this has an auto leveling bed, which means that this build plate right here, all the 3D printers, when they first came out, you had to level that. So this print head had to know exactly where it was so that when it starts, because it prints a very thin layer, 1/2 of a millimeter or just a fraction of a millimeter. And if it's not right, you won't get proper adhesion. So what they would do is there's a lot of screws on the bottom of like the older beds, and you would have to move this around, and you would have to set that level. And then every time it moved a little, you'd have to calibrate it. That's it. I got those 4 out. That's it. So now this bed is loose. And what this does is once you go through calibration, it auto levels. It goes to 16 points and it touches it and it senses where it's at. So it's pretty cool. All right. Now, next thing, I'm going to take off the screen right here. And that's another one of these. Now, the first model I got, this one over here, the screen was off and in the packing, and this ribbon cable, you had to try and put the ribbon cable and clip that on. I guess people were having problems with that. So they went on over and made this bracket. They installed the ribbon cable. Let that hang there for a second. We don't need this metal bracket on the front, so we're just going to take that off. All right, so you don't need all of that stuff. Now this, it just has a couple of slots that it goes into right there. You have it slanted like that, and then you push it in and slide it in until it locks in place. Just like that. Pull the screen off. Now we're almost done. Turn it sideways. We're going to get to the back. Turn it up this way so we can see this camera over here can see too. There's 2 holes right there. This is your spool holder. Let me see. Those bottle adapters are very, very well made. Hey, thank you very much. Cool stuff. Been curious about 3D printers, and you made the bottle adapters. Yeah, they're pretty cool. My wife asked me to make a whole lot of stuff. Now she knows we can make just about anything. You can go on, they've got like files on something like Thingiverse, and like she had something to hold her laptop up against the wall where she could just have her laptop sitting there to store. Just print it up, cable management, just all kinds of things, and even things for her aquarium. My dog had a wooden dog stand with 2 dog dishes in it, and she would always drip water. She's getting older, and she would just slobber water all over the place, and I was having to constantly wipe it and clean it and repaint it. And I found a metal one at the thrift shop. It was like $1.99. I said, oh, cool, I'll get that. And when I came home, the food dishes were just a little bit smaller and they would fall through. So I just went on the 3D printer and printed up a couple of rings about the right size. And it took 1 or 2 tries. They only took about 20 minutes to print up. And then I put it in the dog dish, painted it, and it looks like a brand new dog dish. And we got it for like $1.99 using these. But this is all you have to do is just get these 2 tiny little screws, right? So don't drop them. Get one in there. And like I said, hopefully this one calibrates right. The last one I had, then I got 1, 2, I went through 3 machines, set them up perfect. They were running, and within a couple of minutes, I was running a print. Calibration takes about 15 minutes, I think. So we'll let that run once I get it started. But that's all you have to do. That's a spool holder. That's it. Now, one thing I did do, I'm going to pop in. This doesn't come with the machine, but I made these. And it's just something else you can do with these. You just kind of design them. And the filament, let me get a brand new spool for us, all right? Most of the filament comes on plastic spools. And I was going through loads of these. And so I had a bunch of plastic that we're just throwing. They stopped recycling in our area, and they were just going in the trash. So I felt bad throwing a bunch of plastic spools in the trash. So we found these with cardboard. Now the problem with these is that when they're on here spinning, it's scraped like this. It just holds it in with that little notch, doesn't come off. And then when it spins around, this plastic spins around and it's not eating up that cardboard. So that's all you have to do. All right, now to load the filament, this one, all you have to do is put that in. This is a run out sensor. It's going to come out this end. I'll make another video where we do close-ups and everything. Right now you can't really see too much, but I just wanted to show you how easy it is to put all this together. I'm going to get this ready. We're going to run the calibration first, so we're not going to load this filament, but I'm just getting it ready since I'm back here right now. You always want to cut off any janky little end like that and then slide it up the tube. Until you see it coming out the end over here. I'll show you that in a second. So when we get ready to load the filament, this will be ready for us. So you see it coming out there. So we're going to set that right in the top of the print head. That's just about it. We're going to plug it in and let it calibrate. So turn around here. Got our plug that's plugged down here and the on-off switch right there too. Basically, that's about all we have to do. So hopefully this thing will calibrate right. You don't want to do like the last one that I had, but like I said, I went through 3 of these and they did perfect. So we're going to turn this on. And when it's calibrating, I can sit down and chat with y'all. Would love if you sold the digital file for the adapter holder. I have printed the one on Thingiverse, but I think that's an older version. Yeah, that is an older version. I just have to get to it. I have to think about that. Who is that? Dina. Some people, I was trying to be nice and I was just giving those away. And people are selling them like on Amazon and everything, and they're printing them. We can go into like the print quality. When you print them up, you can do it where it's, you know, it takes a while longer to print a quality one, but you can do it poor quality and do it a lot quicker. And they were doing like a really crappy quality and selling it. And then people are coming back to me because the ones I put on Thingiverse, you can't see this too bright, but I've got my name on there, Keep On Growing. So they were coming back to me and I felt bad for them. So I was just giving them a replacement. But there's people out there selling the stuff with my name and having like a real crappy quality. So I'm going to go through those and actually take my name off before I share with people. All right, I got that going. I'm going to jump down here and plug it in. Give me a second. We're going to see how this does. Yeah, wasn't that quick? What are we on right now? How long? We've only been streaming about 19 minutes, and that's with me talking to y'all. All right, that's all in. I'm going to reach back here and turn it on. Like we say, we hope everything turns out all right. But I'll do another video. They probably have a bunch on YouTube already showing people setting them up and that. But I just want to show you how quick it was just to set everything up. And I think I did everything. I wasn't following directions because I've done this like 4 times before already. How cool is that? I have always wanted one, but I don't have the room. Yeah, and look at this thing. It's really small. I've got a tape measure right here. You can turn that sound off if you want. This thing's only 14 inches square and 16 inches tall. You need a little taller for your filament running over here. You know, you don't want to put in a space that big. And you do want a little bit of room where it's going to have your air intake. But they sell this. This one was $250, which is really cheap. But they have enclosures. If you see all of this and there's all these screws, they've got enclosures. So if you use something else besides PLA, that it's got these filters on here, these places for filters. So you can have it enclosed and it'll run the stuff through a filter. So that's pretty cool. All right, it says setup English. And this is where we got to like keep our fingers crossed. Confirm all packing materials are taken out. The printer needs to be calibrated. And please ensure that the heated bed is unlocked before doing that. And we unlock the heated bed. I'm going to turn this just a little to make sure it moves. Okay. All right. Next. Wi-Fi. I'm going to skip. I don't like hooking mine up to Wi-Fi. You can hook yours up and you can actually be in another room and go ahead and program your stuff and send it to it. I don't like having mine on Wi-Fi. I have so many of them, and I don't know. I'm just a little weird there. All right, now it says homing, so I can talk to y'all, and we'll let that just go. And we're going to see once it heats up. I know about where my last one had a problem, and this one actually came from a different spot than like these three. Like I said, this one had this bracket on the front, and the screen was on there. The last one's didn't, so we're going to see how this goes. Right now, it's saying extruder is heating up and the platform's heating up. So the platform is going to go up to about 60 degrees Celsius, and the extruder, we'll see how much it goes up to, like 180 or something. I'm going to have it printing at about 200 degrees Celsius. Let's see. Oh, that has about the same build size as a Ender 3 Pro. Yeah, the Ender, that's made by Creality too. Those are all good starting ones. Like I said, if you guys want to get into something where you're just printing, you know, stuff like this, you know, you don't need anything like really, really big. And this, like I said, if it goes through everything fine, you're going to see it doing the auto leveling. And that's why I got it. I'm a beginner and I'm really busy doing other things, and I'm packing all these orders. I don't have time to like try and level my stuff and get it just right. I would just get frustrated. So these things have a little sensor on them, and they level themselves. We'll see if this goes through it just fine. If not, I'll just push it to the side and return it. I've got this one. I'll pull it out and I'll show you guys it running and printing. But we're just going to print one of the test ones that are on here, and then I'll go get my flash drive and we'll load one of the adapters. So if you guys are wondering about like how you get the files and how you print, like you hear people asking for the files, they've got it. It's called an STL file, and you can go onto a CAD site and do it. I went something easy like this. I went on Tinkercad and actually made mine. And the people that do 3D printing and that kind of laugh at me, but that's something that they have for like kids to use in school. And it works for me because we're just doing basic shapes, right? We're not trying to make like a tree or cosplay stuff or anything. So that works for me. But you build it out and you get what's called an STL file. And then you have to take that into a slicer program. And a slicer program is a program that tells these machines each layer, which is like not even like a tenth of the thickness of that. It tells it what each layer, what to do and how to do it. So if you go on something like Thingiverse, like I've got my file, so I've got the STL file up on Thingiverse. So if you go over there and look and just punch in anything you want, like we're going to be making little gnome homes, and we're going to be taking the jars and building little gnome homes. I just looked up little fairy door. So on Thingiverse, people put up little files, and you can download and print them. And they have different licenses. Some say, you know, you can use it non-commercial. Some say, you know, if you give the person credit. So like if I made this, you know, I'd go on over and get their name and give them credit for it. But that's pretty cool. So you can go on and just find, it's called an STL file. And then what you got to do is take that and you have to get a slicer program. And this one uses Flash Print or Flash Forge. Creality has one. There's Orca Slicer. Prusa has one. Almost all of them have like their own slicing one. And then if it's something that's open source, then you can use like Orca Slicer or something too that's more built for like generic stuff. But you put that in there, you have to learn. That's where you have to like understand all of the different settings. You have your first layer, you have your shell of it. These things aren't solid. You can print them solid if you want to use a lot of material, but it's actually stronger if you print it where the wall of something thick like this is hollow, and they have what they call infill, and you put a pattern on there. And the pattern is just like when you see a bridge. Bridges aren't built solid, right? Bridges are built with arches and trusses. The infill is the same thing, and it makes it stronger. So you have to program all of that in and tell it how to print. So right now you're seeing this going through the leveling. And this is why I bought this one and the Creality CR10 SE. There's a lot of other ones that have it too, but those I know have this feature right here. It's called auto leveling. And what it's doing is, if you can kind of see it, that print head is moving to 16 different points. And when it gets there, it moves the bed up until it touches the nozzle. So it knows exactly where that bed is at. So it'll go through that, takes a little bit. And then it'll know, it'll level out this with that bed. If you didn't have that feature, you'd have to sit here with like a piece of paper. That's how they used to do it. You get your tools, and you'd have to get the print head set up somewhere. And you'd have to set this in. If you guys have ever used a feeler gauge when you're gapping spark plugs, you'd have to get this in there and level your bed and get it to where it was just like pulling on it, you know, not real tight, just like when you used to gap spark plugs. If you guys are, they don't do that anymore, but back when we had the gap spark plugs, you do the same thing. This, you just set it up and it goes through it. Anytime that you like bump the bed a little or it goes through so many cycles, you want to go ahead and calibrate it again. It goes through the same exact thing. So what it's doing right here is it's going through the leveling, then it's got a vibration test, because if this thing's going, sometimes I'll have all three of these going at the same time, that they'll be printing really fast. And that's why I got this machine too, is that this prints at up to 600 meters per second. Now, I'm not going to print that fast. If you guys see it going, that's like really, really quick. This thing would just be zipping around. I'll print at like less than 300, but it like prints really fast. And I think the filament that I get is like 70. I haven't got one here. You have to read on your filament. They have high speed filament, and this one prints at about 70 meters per second. So those are different settings you have to go into. You have to know what your nozzle is going to be set at, your bed temperature. And once you get those set, pretty much as slicers, you want to leave those unless you're using a different material. Like me, I'm using PLA for everything. So once I get that set up that first time, I don't have to worry about everything else. I'm just going to keep those same settings. So if I decide to do something else or design something else, I've already got that set up. So then I just take my STL file, put it in the slicer, and scale it if I need to, and just hit slice. And then you download that program and you come over here and you put it in here. So right now it's going to the vibration test. Says we've got 4 minutes left, which is pretty good. It's just going through a self-calibration. And then any time when your first layer or your prints are messing up a little, the first thing you want to do is go ahead and recalibrate it, because it might have got off just a little bit. And my son figured this one out. We were getting the first layer was kind of funky, just a little bit on one of the machines. And what had happened was when we pulled this off, I'll use this one. When we pulled this off, this is magnetic. And what happened was a little tiny piece of filament, not this big, it comes out really thin, a little piece had dropped on the bed. And it was enough to push that up just a hair. So now your calibration's off, right? Because instead of being level like that, where it did its test, now all of a sudden you've got a little shim under there. And that was enough to throw it off. So we just got it, cleaned it off and put it back in, recalibrated, and it was okay. But yeah, anytime anything goes funky, you want to go ahead and just check your calibration. I'm going to get a little sip of my drink. Is the Filament food grade. The filament is, you can look up PLA, it's bioplastic. Nothing that's 3D printed is technically going to be food grade, because what they consider food grade is not just that you can eat off of it or if it's safe. What they consider food grade is if you can clean it and use it over and over. And because these are built, like if this is plastic, and back in the days and right now, if I wanted to get this printed or I wanted to get this made in like China, and it's called extrusion. And if I get them to go over and just make a bunch of these with solid plastic, then that would be solid and you can sit there and clean it, right? This is built in layers. So even though it looks solid, if you get under a microscope, it's actually layers and layers and layers on top of each other like that, right? So even though it looks smooth to the eye, bacteria and stuff can still hang out in there. So even if you wipe it and scrub it, you know, you want to get it. So what you would have to do is like sterilize it. And some people are wanting to like throw these in boiling water. If you guys saw my video, you can't put this in boiling water because the melting temperature is 200 degrees Celsius. So we're what? Somebody do the quick math, 300 and something, close to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Anyhow, Fahrenheit. Now, somebody do the math for me real quick. It's not that much because if you get it up to boiling, which is 212 degrees Fahrenheit, these things will melt. You can use food grade epoxy to smooth out and print and prevent water and other stuff from hiding in the cracks. Yeah, if you want to. I mean, if you're going to do it for yourself, you can. And like I'm selling these, so if I would have to take these and try to paint every one of them, I'd have to more than double the cost because that would just take me too much time and I'd have to have them all over the place. We're talking about, we sold a couple thousand of these. So, you know, I can't have like hundreds of these sitting around drying, but if you want to do it yourself, then you can certainly do it yourself. 60 degrees Celsius is 140 Fahrenheit. Yeah, even at that temperature, it'll start to melt. So that's the bed temperature, and that's what's just warm enough to keep this on there. The nozzle temperature is 210 degrees. So whatever 210 goes up to. So boiling these, they'll melt. So yeah, I mean, it's made out of PLA, it's plant-based. You know, technically it's food grade, but you can't clean it, so you can't make something like a cup and sit there and, you know, drink out of it. All right, 210 is 410 Fahrenheit. Cool, appreciate it, Dina. So that's what temperature you need this to melt so that it sticks to each other. And then even at boiling, which is what, 212, half of that, these get soft enough that they're pliable. So you don't want to boil them. And you don't want to throw them in the dishwasher either. And when the heater on the dishwasher goes in, it'll warp it too. Anyhow, it says we're going through the vibration test. Done with that. So pretty much it's almost done. And I still got the other video going there. But you can see it took, well, 20 minutes with me running my mouth to set it up. And now we're on 34 minutes, so another 15 minutes running the calibration. And if it gets through that, it doesn't get stuck on that step because it's down at 0. Then we'll go ahead and print a little test print on it. Anywho, these are really handy if you like need little things around the house. Anything you can think of. Keely's made things for her aquarium. And you, like I said, you can go on Thingiverse and just punch in anything. Just like that, we put little fairy doors, right? And they've got a bunch of them in there. So we're going to be printing those and like giving them away to people because we're going to be making little fairy houses on that new platform called VidMe. We're going to be doing a home and garden show. So we're going to be doing, besides just us with the garden, we're going to be doing a lot of other stuff. All right, this is done now. It says to load the filament. This is where you would go ahead and put the filament on the back like we already did, run it up this tube, and then put it into here. So what you want to do is have it come far enough out of here so that once this extruder starts pulling it in, you can see it pulling in and then push this tube down in there. So I'll do a little video where we have a close up, but I'm just going to hit load right now. And what's going to happen, we're going to wait 1 minute for the nozzle to heat up. Preheating. So I'll show you how fast this heats up. It's at 42 degrees Celsius and it's got to go up to 220 degrees Celsius. We'll see how close. PLA and PETG can be made food grade using the food grade epoxy and silicone and covering it, everything. Yeah, that's what, oh, you're the same one who set it up above. for ABS, put some acetone in a cup and a container and put the, yeah. So that y'all can do that. If you want to make these at home yourself, you can definitely do that. Like I said, I don't have the time for it. And plus we're just doing these for plants. We're not drinking or eating out of them. So we don't have to worry about washing and cleaning them and any bacteria on the, about that. All right, this says loading. So what I'm going to do is put this in here right now. Push up on it just to make sure it's pulling through. And what we're going to see coming out, they use red. We're going to see a little residue of the filament. And y'all can't see that right there. I'll pull it out in a second. Right now it's just extruding. And this is what they test it with. And there is a red. And now the white is coming out. That's my white that I put in there. And right now it's done. So it says print. Load completed. Please clean the filament. The platform, everything's cleaned off. Click print. And what it's going to do is print a little cube for a test print. So we'll watch that. And then I'll let y'all go. If y'all have any questions, I'll answer a couple of questions. But basically that's it. Then if you get your programs, like I said, you go get your STL program, your STL files, pull them into Slicer, slice it up. They got all kinds of videos to watch. I learned everything on YouTube. Then you bring that and load it into here. And there's all kinds of videos telling you how to print things and everything. But I just want to show you how easy it was to set it up. Go through calibration. We're done calibrating. We loaded the filament. And what are we on? 38 minutes. And it's starting to do its test print. Right now it says preheating. And this test print only takes a couple minutes. So we'll see it go. And you'll see how fast that goes. I don't think you'll be able to see it from there. So we'll just let it run. So you saw how fast it heated up the nozzle, right? And right now, the nozzle's heated up and it's heating the bed up to 55 degrees Celsius. So that's pretty cool. Like I said, I'm a newbie and I don't really know that much. You know, I learned enough to, you know, make my things. I can make basic shapes, you know, stuff. For hydroponics, we don't need anything real fancy. And you can go on, if you can kind of just imagine it, you can go on Tinkercad and just kind of play with it. You can use a more expensive one. There's all kinds of stuff that you can do. Like everyone else who knows how to 3D print, there's tons of things you can do. But I keep all my tools in one place. One thing I did like about the Creality, the one that's over here, they have a little drawer in the bottom and you can put your tools in there. But we just keep all our tools. Like I said, you got your little thing to clean out your nozzle if you need to. And right now it's printing. So what it did was it printed a little test strip just to clean out your nozzle, get the filament going. And now it's printing a little square, a little cube. And I would lift you up so you could see it. You can see it a little bit in there. So we'll let that print real quick and then I'll pull it off and let you see it. It's already 20% done. But yeah, so Keely printed up like a bunch of stuff, like for aquarium, a little tiny house for her shrimp to be in, a little oriental looking lantern and a pagoda, all kinds of feeding things for her fish, little tube and a little tray. And to me, with the hydroponics, you know, most stuff, if you guys are in hydroponics, you know, stuff like net cups. And if you need a lid, like we might get a container or a jar and a net cup might not fit in it exactly, you can go over and just print a plastic piece and have the hole, just measure it and just go into Tinkercad and make you a little small lid. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. And you come and print it up. You know, it's pretty cool. So we've done a couple of things with some of the hydroponics where we needed a little lid for a jar. We had like 12 jars. We went, took a little while, you know, get your first one, test it, get it just right. And then you go through and just print it over and over. So this is going, it says it's got like 2 minutes. anyhow, if you're on YouTube, the link to this is down in the description. If you're a beginner, if you're not a beginner, you probably won't be getting one of these, or you'll get the Pro model that has the enclosure, so you can go ahead and print other stuff like the ABS and all of that. But me, I'm just using the PLA. Now this PLA sooner or later will break down in the sun, but to me, we're doing it with microgreens. You're going to take it and it's going to be underneath of the leca or your clay pebbles. So it's not going to be in the sun. It's going to be in the sun just a little while you have it out and you're getting ready. It's going to be closed up and covered up. And then when you take it out, you clean it. All I do is take mine and drop them into a little bucket. If there's a little bit of algae on it, I'll put a little bit of bleach in there. Some people don't like bleach. You can use hydrogen peroxide, or sometimes I take and just rinse it off with a little scrub brush. Just get a little tiny brush and it'll just come right off of there, and then I just reuse them. So really easy to clean up. This says it's got about 3 minutes now. So it goes through different layers, but it's already printing the top layer. Now I'll show you that. So yeah, and if you guys have any questions about it, you know, just ask somebody or go on YouTube. There's a ton of videos on it. And I just got another one of these just because they went down. I think the ones that I got before, I paid $3.49 or $3.29. And then they were down to $2.99, $2.79. And when I went to replace this one, because there's a little cable that was loose on the bottom, and I just sent it back and they sent me another one. I should have like asked for a refund and just bought a new one because the price went down to $2.59, which is like really cheap. But now that's done. You can hear the noise. I'm just going to push OK. There's all these features on here that you can mess around with, but really, if you're just printing simple stuff, you don't need to mess with anything like that. Build plate comes off. Show the camera over there. That's a little test to get the nozzle, get the filament going in the nozzle. And that's a little strip around there, a little test strip. There's all kind of things that you can do with this. I just pop that off, and that comes off. Get rid of that. So that's a little test, and it just printed that. So what are we on? 43 minutes, and we unboxed it, calibrated it, loaded the filament, and printed a little test cube in 43 minutes. And I'm a newbie. This is all I've been printing. I haven't printed, you know, a whole lot of stuff. All I know to do is go look on Thingiverse and get some files and run them through the slicer program, right? And do that. So just to be able to take something from your brain and to print something is pretty cool. Back in the day when we went to get something like an idea, if I thought of something like this and I wanted to get it injection molded, I would have to go over and give them a drawing, and they would take it and have to make a jig out of like aluminum. So they have these big machines and they machine the aluminum down, and they would make a mold that they can inject the plastic into. So you would have to pay for that process. And if I got it and it was a little off and I said, I need to tweak this a little, you'd have to pay for that. So you're talking tens of thousands of dollars to make a prototype for one thing. And now you can go over on Tinkercad for free, design it yourself, run it through a slicing program. And you guys saw how fast you can set one of these up, right? And we already printed something. So this will take a little over an hour to print. And within an hour, you can print yourself one. So very cool times that we're living in that we'll be able to do that. I've had like, ever since I was like a teenager, just ideas like all the time, like, oh, I wish I could make this or make that. And when I first looked into it and how much it costs to make a prototype, it was just crazy. So anytime I came up with an idea, I was like, you know, no way. And then they started coming out with 3D printers. I was like, oh, that's cool. And I just kind of put it off and put it off until it got so easy, just like all the stuff we use on the internet, right? This streaming platform here, anybody streaming when YouTube first started out was really difficult, and they had to get streaming software, and it was tough to set up. So people were having all kinds of trouble. And now this is easy with this software right here. You just go over, connect your YouTube channel to it and start a stream, and it's really user friendly. All of the apps that you guys are using on your iPhone, when you take little videos and you're posting to Instagram and TikTok and everything, and you're editing right in the app. That's really easy. People who edited videos like years ago, 5 years ago, all of that stuff was really difficult, and it took a lot of time, and people had to practice and practice and practice to get proficient at it. And now you guys are running around with your phone, filming stuff and doing all the transitions and green screening and doing all the stuff that took a lot of time and effort before. So now the 3D printers, they were kind of tough when they first came out. You had to be real techie. And like me, I just watched some YouTube videos and looked at, which one best 3D printer for a beginner and why. And people were explaining why. They're like, if you're a beginner, you don't want to mess with leveling the bed. You want to get an auto leveling bed. And that's what we did. This one prints really, really fast. So if I want to speed it up a little, if it's something that, I'm doing like a test print, I can go ahead and speed it up a little. But this is really good for a beginner, and the price point is like awesome, $250. The Crealities that I started with over there were like close to $400 each one of those. So this is like $150 cheaper than that. So I'm really happy with them, and it's fun to be able to come up with an idea and go in there and tweak it and mess around with it, and then put it in there and just print something up. I mean, I won't be able to like just print something like that before, right? And I just found that online, running through Slicer program, and now we're going to go build a little gnome home. And what do you call it? We can print a lot of these, and we can like send them out to y'all, like we sent out the adapters. So if you want to build one along with us, whoever's going to be, on our little channel, home and garden channel, it's going to be cool because now we can be interactive with people. We're able to get, some kind of unique stuff. I can take those and actually tweak it to, I could put our name on it. I could take the doormat and put, keep on growing or something, or welcome, or stay away, or whatever we want to put on it. We can find other little objects and print them up and then pass them out to, whoever we want, our audience and everything. And they can have fun with it, with their kids putting stuff together. So we're going to have lots of fun with that. There's lots of practical uses. If you guys haven't been into it, I really enjoy it. Like I said, this thing is compact. We said 14 inches by 14 inches. And even with this, you want a little bit of room up on the top, right? It's 16 inches tall. And this is right at, like, you want to go about 22, say 24 inches, so that this has room to run around and it's not rubbing on anything. And a little bit of room in the back, so you've got room for the air circulation, and we've got that spool on the back too. So even though it's 14 inches, we got the spool and the screen. You're talking about like 19 inches. So it's not all that big. You can set these up. You can have a wire rack and just have those on it. So hope y'all had fun with that. What are we going on? Going on an hour. I'm going to let y'all go. And we got the new platform starting, VidMe. We're going to be putting a lot of stuff up over there. It's going to be a whole lot of different things too. It's going to be home and garden over here on YouTube. If you guys are here, YouTube, Facebook, I can put a couple different things on there. The people on YouTube, they're real picky and finicky. They want to see garden stuff, and that's all they want to see. And that's like a tiny part of what we do. We do a whole lot of other stuff. My wife and I were doing all kinds of art and painting and decorating and that for like 25 years. And gardening was like a side hustle. When I came home, we were doing a little bit of that. And that was just a way for us to stop being on the road all the time. And we worked into that. But we've got a lot of experience doing other things. And she likes sharing her art and everything. So we're going to be getting into that on the new platform. YouTube, I might not be putting out too many videos. It's going to depend on how much time and effort we can put into everything. But we're having fun, and we're helping people with adapters. I get a lot of people just sending thank you notes and sending me pictures. And what do y'all think? Anybody all the people who like ordered any of these and started using them, I'm gonna make a hashtag. I haven't thought of it yet, but I'm gonna make a hashtag and let everybody, if they're growing the stuff, to post something to social media and just hashtag like keep on growing microgreens or something. I'm going to make it simpler than that. And then that way we can go through and search. And I'm going to give away something, I don't know, like a $50 or $100 Amazon gift card or something. So we're thinking about something like that. So if you guys have bought any of those and you've been growing things, make sure you take pictures in that and get things set up. And better yet, get a quick little video like we're talking about. You can pull out your phone and just film it and show people what you grew and show people how you use it. If you put it in a recipe or something, they'll like that. And then maybe once a month or something, we'll go through that hashtag and pick somebody out of there to give like a $100 gift card or something too, if that sounds like fun. So I'm going to let y'all go because I'm standing up over here, and with these things do generate a little bit of heat. And I've got a couple more going over there, so it's getting pretty toasty. I don't know if I look like I'm sweating. And let's see, do you have a affiliate link for the print? Yeah, Catherine, I'll put it in Facebook in a second because I put on YouTube. Facebook, we can't put too many links up in the what you call it. But if you come back to the stream, when I'm done streaming this, I'll go into the house and get the link. Give me 1 second. I can probably open up my stream on YouTube. I'll go to my channel. Live. All right, y'all might hear this start. Let me push mute. 1 second. And I can see myself live. All right, Flash Forge, 3D printer, copy link. I don't know if this will do it. I'm going to try and put it in here right now. And if not, just come back to the Facebook. Yeah, it's got a big old link. You can try and click that and see if it works. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But I'll come back into Facebook and put it down there. Wow, that's so cool. Thanks for showing us step-by-step 3D printer. Love it. Thank you, Carol. And thank you so much for the knowledge and sharing. No problem, thanks. Yeah. So we're going to wind down. Y'all say goodnight to each other and all that. If anybody has any questions, pop them in the chat. Congrats. Thank you very much. And if you guys want to see any more like instructions and directions and how I like design these and using Tinkercad, or if you guys want to use a different program or putting it into the Slicer program so that you got a program to put into here, just let me know and I'll do that. I'm going to shut this off. Like I said, it's like really warm in here. There's no air conditioning out here. That's why it's warm. If it was in a house, it wouldn't be any problem. I've got this little stand-up air conditioner, but if I put that on, you guys won't hear me talking. I'll just be blasting behind me. But yeah, thank you all for hanging out. Tomorrow I will be on, I think, maybe 7 p.m. I'll be on a little bit before Mike Popovich goes on VidMe at 8 p.m. Eastern. So I'll pop on a little bit. We can talk about it tomorrow. So if you guys, the ones who have joined VidMe, are going to be on the new platform with me, come on tomorrow and we're going to talk about if you guys have anything. I've just been hyping it and everything and talking about all the good stuff. If you guys have any concerns or questions, or you have, like we had a couple of trolls going around, if you guys have any questions or want to know how to deal with people and you're trying to pass out your link and that, bring them on tomorrow and we'll talk about it. That way you guys get comfortable at trying to explain it to other people, because it's a great opportunity with all these social platforms right now. We're on YouTube, Facebook, and everything. You guys are wonderful. You share my stuff all the time. I can go into the analytics and I see that thousands of times people share it every single month, and nobody gets anything out of that except the platforms and me. I get traffic and I really appreciate that. But it'd be nice if y'all got something out of it too. So just got my adapters. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Awesome. Very good. Cool. Let me know. Like I said, if you grow anything, take a picture. Okay. And the new platform, VidMe, subscription based like Patreon. But if you go on over and share content like the stuff we're going to be putting up over there, and if you take it and share it and people come up and sign up for it, you're going to get credit for it and you can make money at it. So to me, that's pretty awesome. And people are going around trying to burst people's bubbles and that, and because they think that we're trying to make everyone a millionaire. It's no big deal. You know, if you can make a lot of money, I would love it if every one of you guys were making $1 million, right? But there's some people out there that a couple $100 is like life changing, you know, a month. It could pay your electric bill or something. There, once you get started at that and you figured out that you did only this much work to get that much more coming in a month, then you just do a little bit more that next month. This is recurring and it keeps building and building and accruing. And there's nothing like this on any other social platform. So if you make a couple hundred and you go, oh, I figured out how to do that, then I'm going to figure out how to do a little more and a little more. And by the end of the year, you know, if you're making 500, 1,000, 2,000 a month, and you didn't have to go get like a second part-time job, but you just like kept sharing the content that was on a platform, that would be awesome, right? So I think can help a lot of people out. You know, we're not all going to be millionaires and everything. It'd be fantastic if, you know, many of you did, and many of you did better than me. You know, that'd be awesome. But I know there's a lot of people out there that, you know, $500 or $1,000 a month is like life changing. That could pay a car payment and give you a little bit of breathing room and take the knot out of your stomach. You know, I know how it is living paycheck to paycheck, and us coming through. We went through lockdown, and our business, me and my wife Keely, we work for ourselves, so we were self-employed, and we went through lockdown and everything got cut off, and we didn't get unemployment because we work for ourselves, and we didn't get the gig economy because our customers weren't set up on a schedule, and we would have to go and get in writing from them that they were planning on us working and how much they're going to pay us. So we had to go around, and we weren't allowed to go anywhere, you know, so we had to bother our customers who were going through that kind of stuff. So we didn't bother doing it. So our income went from way up here being running our own business to zero overnight. And all these people were crying about, you know, they were getting $600 a week or whatever for unemployment. We weren't getting anything. So we you know, had to learn how to do all of this, and we've been doing it for a couple of years, and we really enjoyed, and it was a struggle for a little while. And like we said, any little bit helps. We were picking up stuff off the side of the road and selling on Facebook Marketplace. We're finding stuff at thrift shops and selling on eBay and Poshmark, and every little bit that you have coming in just helps. So we do Amazon. You have Amazon affiliate links. That helps. So if anybody needs help, we got like VidMe starting up, but it doesn't have to be just that. You can use social media to do a ton of stuff. There's like unlimited opportunities out there, and you can really run yourself ragged trying to do too much. But if you focus on a couple and you do them right, and then once you figure out how to do it and you scale it, it's like YouTube AdSense. When I first signed up, I didn't even know you could make money doing YouTube videos, and most people way back then didn't really know. And when I turned it on, and the first month I had 25 cents, you know, I went and got my wife. I'm like, come here and look. And I showed her, and she's like, yeah, it's 25 cents, right? We're rich. And I said, no, I said, I just had to figure out, yeah, it's possible to do something. And then once I know I can do it, then I just got to figure out how to scale it. And that's what I've been doing all these years. And just, you guys see me, it's just helping people and growing. And then, you know, started out in a couple of months, I was making $250 a month. I'm like, wow, that pays for my electric and my water bill. Now I get free electric and free water. And then it goes up a little the next month. I'm like, wow, I get free electric, water, and my internet's paid for. Next is the phone. So I'm not sitting there thinking I'm doing this amount of work and getting 25 cents or whatever. It's that I'm building recurring income that's going to keep coming and keep coming. And once you build up videos just like this on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, you have a library of content, and people will come on. People are watching videos that I put out 7 years ago and still commenting on it and asking me questions. And those are still generating income. So there's a ton of opportunities, and that's what we're going to be helping a lot of people with on this new platform. It's going to be a home and garden show, but we're going to be talking about the gardening, our hydroponics and that. It's going to be like a show. There might be a little clip of that. There might be a clip of Keely doing a little art. We did a whole lot of different wall finishes and stuff, and we had all our own recipes. We're going to be sharing all of that with y'all and teaching you how to do that, and then teach people. We don't go out and do that as a business anymore. So all of our stuff was like our secrets, and all the artists that are out there and all the people that are doing the finishes, they all had their own little secrets of how to do things. We're not doing it anymore. So we can give you guys all our secrets, and you can go out there and hustle with everybody else. So if you want to go and do any painting, if you guys are a little artistic, we're going to be teaching you guys how to do that, how to set up a business, how to run a business, how to do cold calling, just all the stuff to get your business going from nothing. We're going to be doing cooking, stuff like this, business. This is making little adapters, selling them, packing them, teach you guys how to use one of these if you want. And then people out there printing these and selling them too. You can make videos just like me on how to use it. Just watch what I'm doing and make videos like that and put it out, and you can sell some. So there's abundance in the world. There's room for everybody. And like I said, all of us, we're not just trying to do something and make $1 million, but every little bit helps. And once it all starts trickling in, where you're not having to do it constantly and think about it, like all my videos on YouTube, if you look in the description, there's a link to my online course. There's a link to my ebook. There's a link to my Amazon shop. There's a link to my Etsy shop. So that's why in every video, you don't hear me saying, go click this link, go check that out. Everybody's used to hearing that. They all know to go look in the description now. So we'll have that there. So if you guys start making content, putting stuff in the description and building out a library, then you'll have passive income. That's what passive income is. It's not like you set something up and you don't do anything. It's you do the work in the beginning and you set up all of these systems so that when you stop, like if I stop now and I stop for a week, all of the videos keep playing. When people keep searching Google for off-grid hydroponics, mine might still be popping up, right? And people are watching it. They can go see my online course. They can click over, they can order the course, they can enroll in it, watch the videos. I get paid for it and I don't have to do anything. So I can be off on vacation somewhere and all of this stuff still runs. So the only thing we would have to do is like physical products, but this helps people. So I still do this. So you can make digital products where you can put on autopilot, or something like this where you actually have to sell them, pack them, ship them. But that's cool. And I really enjoy this because it's kind of hands-on. When I make one, when we're making these, I'm thinking who it's going to, and they're actually taking it and growing some food. Whereas like the digital product, it just goes out and goes out and goes out. And I have no idea if anybody's actually doing anything with it or not. So this kind of keeps me tied to my audience and that. So it's a lot more fun, keeps me grounded. Awesome. Cool. Yeah. So like I said, I'll be on tomorrow night. You guys come with questions. If you have any questions about the new platform, we're going to be building stuff out there. It's going to be really cool. We tried doing home and garden here before, YouTube, Facebook. Every time we do something a little different like this, or talking about a new platform, kills our traffic. Most creators don't do that. If they come on and they're gardening, all they do is talk about gardening, 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 gardening. So they keep pushing content out to the same people. Channels grow. I could have over 1 million followers now if I wanted on YouTube. It's just I chose not to. So I'd rather go deep and form more connections with people than just be thrown out there to a wide audience and think like, wow, I've got millions of people watching me and that, and me not really have too much of a connection with people. This way, it's smaller crowd, decent size, micro influencer, but we're forming deeper connections with people in that, and I really enjoy it. All right, I'm gonna let y'all go. Steve, who we got here? Seattle was here, and Summers, Lenny, everybody else who was in the chat, thank you very much and appreciate it. Oh, let me turn this off. Still have my camera going. I'm sweating. I got to go in and take a shower, get to bed, and I'll see y'all tomorrow night. All right, have a good one. Much love. Keep on growing.